Meeting of the Groveland Conservation Commission at 7:05 PM.
Second. Mic on, Terry.
June 28th. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Okay. Yes, so this is a meeting of the Groveland Conservation Commission on Wednesday, June 28th, 2023. As you may note, we have started scheduling meetings for twice a month, which will be on the second and fourth Wednesdays of the month when necessary. And so June, our second meeting was necessary. So this is our second meeting. And we have a couple of permit hearings tonight, and then some project discussion and answering questions. And so we'll try to get through it as quickly as possible. So I will motion to open up the hearing for 10 Ashcroft Circle. It's for a Groveland notice of intent to look at a replacement septic system.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on opening the hearing? Hearing none. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Okay, 10 Ashcroft Circle septic system. Oh, you can stay seated.
Sit, stand, whatever.
Yeah.
Once you hold the microphone.
Okay.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay, my name is John Pettis. I'm an engineer. Brad Brooks, the property owner, is here. Brad just bought the property in January, has been making improvements to it since then. So what we have is a house that was built in the early 1960s. Existing leaching field is down behind the house, got it closer to between the house and the rail trail. That was in failure. So we designed a new system. Basically, I've kind of put it the best spot I think we can. I made it the minimum 10 feet from the property line. Wedge it kind of between the house, and there is a drainage easement on the side of the property. There's an existing catch basin on Ashcroft Circle, and a drain line. It takes a little, it's not a ton of flow, but it takes a little bit of flow, obviously rainwater. So kind of got it in between the easement there and the house. So trying to maximize everything. So we are now 69 feet to the new tank from the wetlands, 72 to the leaching field. And one other thing I did with the design is typically from a septic field, you have 15 feet before you can start sloping down. So what we did here is Title V allows you to do 5 feet off. You do an impervious barrier, and then allows you to slope down quicker. And what that does is allows me to do the grading and keep that grading further from the wetlands. So I'm able to keep everything, including the erosion control, the straw bales, and over the 50 feet from the wetlands.
So you're moving it further away, you're making it better, you're making it work.
Yeah.
What do you think, guys?
So the erosion control, you said it's not marked in here, but you said it's going to be beyond 50 feet or beyond?
Yes, it's just
where
beyond,
place-
it's all beyond, yeah, I could have put that on, it's just beyond 50 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what sort of grading are you going to be doing in the 100-foot buffer?
It'll just be the 3-to-1 from the, so if
What's
this
the
is,
existing versus the,
the existing system's down here.
no,
I'm sorry.
the existing grading.
Okay,
We live next door.
Yeah.
And like they took a bunch of trees down between our two properties. Somebody came over, asked me our property line. I asked them to get a survey because whoever's doing your work, I thought it was the owner. The young guy that came over told me he was the owner. He asked me where my property line was. He said, the guy's taking the trees down, told him to come ask me. I said, I'm not quite sure because where it ends, they took a bunch of trees down already. We do have a little concern, the rail trail already, and the stagnant water that's sitting back there already. We're not quite sure where he's putting the septic. We would like to know that, because it is abutting our property.
Could you introduce yourself?
I am Laurie Knight, and this is my husband Brian. We live at 8 Ashcroft Circle.
Just for the record.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to argue it, we just want to understand it.
Sure.
There's discussion once
Yeah,
he's had a chance.
yeah,
to
so we
propose
just,
it,
like I
so-
said, they took a bunch of trees down, we're not quite sure. When we bought the house, Frank just said, that's my property. You know, we're like, we have a fence, we have a pool, I'm sure we own a little past our fence, we also are not quite sure. They've taken a lot of trees down, we saw the trucks there this week ripping a lot of stuff up, so we're just,
Can you point to your,
You're over here, right?
the adjacent
So this is,
property?
I'm sorry, this is Ashcroft Circle.
yep, so
is
we
the
are at,
circle.
he's the first one, we're the second one.
It'd be right here.
We'd be right
Yeah,
here.
so we also have the right of way, the water, they told us that when we bought it. We have we have the right of way with the electric company because of all the power lines behind us. We have the waterway, the easement and everything. So, you know, we were told we couldn't, you know, do anything. We are not also quite sure how much our property goes into over past our fence. I don't know if you've probably, I don't know, I haven't seen you there,
I
but,
could, yeah, I can come out anytime you want and measure it. I mean, we can measure right from the catch basin
yeah.
with the scale, and we can get right onto that point.
Won't be a certified
But-
survey, but it'll be.
Yeah, I can just pull tape and just give you.
Reasonably
yeah, I
So
can
where are
give
you putting the new septic?
So the new septic's right here. So if the house is here.
Yep,
That catch basin, you know, wherever
Yep,
is
yep,
there. and
that's
So the
that.
new system's going right here.
so closer to the street now?
Yes, yeah. Yeah, so basically what we have is a wetlands at the back of the property.
Mm-hmm.
And we're trying to maximize the distance we can do from that.
Okay,
So Title V allows us to go a minimum of, you have to be at least 10 feet off the property line. So that's what we're doing.
so.
And you're not
Keep everything up to the
you're not
front.
planning on doing anything
I'm not trying to-
beyond the
No,
catch basin?
Nothing to
I
do
mean,
with
just to
me,
give
has
a,
nothing to do with anything, like I said, so.
Towards the catch basin and all,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So the catch basin has an easement around it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm keeping everything to the side of that. to the
So
side.
I think you've pretty much taken the trees down, we just stopped
Yeah, I think
even
they
here,
took-
they're right
they took it- there were a
to
couple
the-
trees right
they are
around
right
where we
to
did
it,
the,
yeah.
testing.
but
Right in here. yeah.
before, well before the catch basin.
They're pretty close to it, we backed up
But-
just now when we came even and I walked over there yesterday.
Right.
They've taken, like I said, it was all trees, they've taken a lot of trees down in between
But
us.
there's another 50 feet before
Yeah.
what looks like your property. Just, I mean, just
So-
without looking at it,
Well, no, we were just wondering if it was going in back, like towards the
no.
water, there's,
that's why we're here.
yeah, okay.
No, we don't,
right,
and
that
that's,
was
like I
my
said, that's an
biggest concern.
easement. I have to keep to this side of it. Like I
That side
said,
of the
kind of like
catch basin.
So I know,
wedging it between the house
I know,
and
I'm
there.
not sure if it's his son, the one who came to my house. He told me he was flipping the house, the guy that came to my door. It was not this gentleman. But he told me he was building a yard there. That's why he was taking all the trees down. He was making a yard. He was bringing
Well, there
landfill
will be a
in,
little bit,
so.
yeah, because this will flatten out a little bit. You know, this kind of, again, it's hard to tell with the grading, but basically each of these dotted lines right now,
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
it's 2 feet in elevation drop. So there's 2 feet, next another 2 feet. So from here to here, it drops about 6 feet. I mean,
Yeah.
you've seen the property.
Oh,
you
yeah,
live
it
next to
drops right off.
So it'll be more level to get over the system. So the system's got to be level, and then it'll grade down.
Then he'll grade down, then you'll do
Yeah,
a
and
yard
they'll
for
grade
the
down
wall.
towards the back, yeah.
Okay, all right, that's
So you're
what
putting
we
the
were.
yard right over the septic, or?
That'll
Pretty much.
become his yard, yeah.
Oh,
There'll be
okay.
something he can mow.
That's fine.
All right, that's all we were
Yeah,
concerned
my
about, like,
concern was just pretty much the catch basin,
Sure,
the water
sure.
runoff.
and the water behind us.
Because I know it
like,
runs all
moving.
through
Yeah,
Pandora,
no,
everything
that's-
else.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
oh, yeah, we know about
Yeah, no, I'm
Pandora.
staying away from that, and I gotta not touch that, yeah. I
Okay.
gotta not touch that.
All right, thank you. That's
Yeah,
what we
Thank
were-
you.
welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming. So that answered a few questions that we didn't even ask, which is, I guess, good, because we,
Are we happy
Asked a
with
couple of
the erosion control locations and everything?
Yeah, if his grading's going to be within that. So have you taken trees? It sounds
I
like
haven't
a
taken,
bunch
I
of-
think they've taken a couple of trees down.
Where we're putting the septic.
Yeah, right where the
Okay.
septic
Kind of
system is,
down.
yeah.
They took a lot.
It doesn't matter how many installed on our property, it's just with the septic, we're good to go.
No, I know. The reason I ask is, I mean, a lot of it's within the 100 feet. And we have a lot of other people come and you have to get a letter from us if you're taking a bunch of trees down within the 100 feet, or 200 feet on the Merrimack.
Okay.
That's the
not
issue.
you, but him.
Not you, but him, yeah. And there's also a percentage, I mean, there's a max percentage of the total trees you can take down and all that kind of stuff, which my guess is you're
And typically,
probably
if
right.
you need the trees cut down for
For a septic,
septic
it's-
system,
yeah.
we're not gonna say, no, you can't do that.
Right.
So, We just like to be in the process.
Well, the question is, are you planning on taking any other trees down?
No,
Okay.
And let's see, where, can you roughly indicate where the erosion control
Girls, is this
along
line?
the barrier there? Okay. And what about, you're crushing this one?
Yeah, that'll be pumped and just filled with sand.
Okay, so you're gonna have an excavator back there
I don't think you can use an excavator, I think it just needs
to
to pump.
crush it, or,
He's just gonna fill it.
Yeah, just gonna fill it. It's an old leach pit, all it is a stone at the bottom. So and then there's a,
so it's not a big,
It's a cesspool.
yeah, it's basically a cesspool.
Yeah.
is it hollow?
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
cesspool.
it's hollow. yeah.
Okay, so
So it's an old stone.
Okay.
Filled
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
filled with rock at the bottom, so that can become your leaching bed. And
And so, how is the fill material getting there? You could bring a
Pump it.
dump,
Skid steer, Bobcat?
I would think a contractor would just, I don't think it's too big, so.
I mean, it's
Are we
more than a
wheelbarrowing it, or I'm not sure, to be honest with
yeah,
you.
yeah. I guess what I'm saying is
You
I'd
wanna-
like to
you
have
wanna
some
limit
sort of
something.
erosion control
Okay.
there, if there's gonna
Okay.
be I mean, if it's wheelbarrows going back there,
Yeah.
no big deal.
Anything
If
more
somebody's
than that
there
needs
with a
erosion
dump
control.
truck and a
Okay.
backhoe, or, because when my septic tank got crushed, it got crushed.
Yeah, that's a newer tank that has a bottom to it. This is something that doesn't have a hard bottom.
I don't know about that, it was pretty old.
Oh, okay.
And it was almost 30 years ago, so.
But it was a tank, right?
It was, I think it was like a rock. I think it was like
Okay,
a,
then you might have had a cesspool too.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a long time ago. But, yeah, they had a backhoe back there. And I think I just got in before the Wetlands Protection Act. Not by much. All right, yeah, so I would like a little bit of, if it's
Anything
gonna
more
be.
than a wheelbarrow. I get
Anything
it.
more than a wheelbarrow, some sort of, just a handful hay bales or something.
Okay.
Because if it rains like it just did an hour ago,
Annie, do you
Well, then you
need
get
the
problems, yeah.
green
it's
cards?
all, whatever it is gonna end up right there.
Yeah, I just want to say, there is nothing behind that property. It goes right to the water. It is so low, it's like, they didn't even use it as
22
a
of them. I
yard.
think I
Like,
said
there's a
about
door
29.
at the back, but
I'll get back
Frank's
22.
been there, my understanding is since it was
Yep.
built, you know, so.
Right.
I just want to let you know.
I think it's the best. that can be done right
Not
now.
really any other options.
No, no.
No, and I like this further away.
Yep.
All right,
Any other questions?
Unrelated to the septic, one of you guys mentioned, I forget who, about additional work happening in the house is, just because you are within the 100 feet, by eyeballing this, the house, right, but what kind of work are you doing?
We've got all our permits, we renovated the house.
The interior.
interior.
Interior, I'm sorry, I should have said that.
Right,
We're
okay.
renovating the interior of the house.
So we never got involved, right?
Well,
I assume.
interior, we
Wouldn't
don't,
come to
You don't
me.
get involved, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't get flagged for it.
Okay.
Mike, you want to throw a motion out?
I'll let you do it.
Move to accept this GNOI replacement septic system proposed as is with the, with a little bit of extra erosion control for the termination of the existing system,
And close the hearing.
and close the hearing with that.
Second.
Okay, moved and seconded to approve the Groveland Notice of Intent at 10 Ashcroft Circle. Any further discussion on that motion? No? Hearing none, then we'll take a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
There you go.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I'll make a motion to
You're welcome.
open the hearing for 11 Evergreen Lane, Groveland. Oh, is this a continuation of? Yeah, all right. To reopen the hearing for GRDA for a pool installation at 11 Evergreen Lane, continued from June 14.
Guys, we're still in the
Yeah, can you guys take it outside, please? Thanks.
There's a public video that being recorded and it's picking up on the recording. You can do that if you want. Thank you. Yeah, have a good one.
Second?
Second.
Have a good one, thank you.
Okay, so that was moved and seconded. All in favor of opening the hearing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, unanimous. So this one, we talked about this at our last meeting, and we went and visited it. I think all four of us were there, right?
Think so.
Yes.
Yep. So, I think that I can't think of any, I mean, what do you think about erosion controls? Are they really necessary?
If they stay beyond the shed, they're not necessary, because it's flat as a pancake.
Yeah,
It's almost like a, like a pebble parking lot.
yeah, right. And they, I mean,
So I think that might be our only restriction, that they not have any equipment closer
Yeah.
to the wetlands than the shed.
yeah, yeah. And plus, they've got the fence there, so the limit of work is basically defined by that. They're not going to have a tractor going down.
Right,
for-
but I'd like to have them even a little bit further in the
Oh,
shed.
yeah.
The shed's a natural barrier also.
Yes, yes. Well, I don't see any need for them to go further than that anyway.
Do we want to have them put like a wattle or something on the side of the house where they're probably going to bring the equipment in? I'm trying to remember, it was
It's all concrete all
was it
over
all
here.
concrete
Yeah.
to the front? It was all concrete there? Okay.
Yeah, it was asphalt for the, and that was pretty a
Driveway
wide
side.
driveway, and then it turned into concrete.
Because I'm assuming they're going to have to probably take that fence section out to get a dump truck and other equipment in. Would be my
Yeah, I don't
guess.
think, I thought maybe a large part of it was gate too, I don't know, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's,
And I think, and then we also talked about if they have to stockpile anything, they do it beyond the 100-foot buffer on the grassy area behind the gravel patch.
Yeah, so all stockpiling outside of the 100-foot buffer. Beyond which is basically beyond the stone patio area. All right. So I'll make a motion to approve the GRDA with a negative determination, allowing the pool installation being placed and no work beyond the front of the shed, and stockpiling outside of the 100-foot buffer defined by the stone patio, or the existing stone patio, and close the hearing.
Second.
Any further discussion on this? No? Hearing none, then we'll take a vote. All in favor of the motion to accept the GRD, the plans for the pool and issue a negative determination on the GRDA, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Unanimous. All right. Now we'll move on to 172 King Street.
Do we have to close the hearing portion of the meeting?
Yeah, no, because from now on, we're just going to open and close every hearing
Okay.
distinctly.
why you made me
Yeah,
redo my motion.
Forget the rules, yeah.
So, the applicants, well, they're not really the applicants yet, but the folks living at 172 King Street, which was the other home we visited a couple weeks ago, wrote Annie an email regarding some questions they have about the project. And if you read it, you'll see that they did have a wetland scientist come and give them an estimate on what it was going to cost to mark the wetlands and then draw up a notice of intent.
That was the very last page of your meeting packet. That wasn't stapled.
Yeah, it's a
Yes.
separate
Sorry,
piece of
guys.
paper.
There's an email within your packet as well with the list of questions, and then there was the second email.
Not intending to fill in any of the wetlands directly, so that isn't an issue either. That's good.
What page are their questions on?
There's multiple pages.
It's about halfway in.
It's right, yeah, it's
Just-
technically page 10. It's technically page 10.
Just
Oh,
before the.
okay, I
just
see it.
before the manor
Yep, I see it, I see it.
correspondence goes.
I thought we had got over a lot of this
Yeah.
when we were there.
Well, I think the monetary aspect hit them. You know, there's no breakdown of what the wetlands delineation and the filling out of the notice of intent, you know, how much each one of those functions was.
Seems to me, weren't they talking about getting a survey done too? So that's probably on top of that. I mean, not to be,
Well, did they do a survey?
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but you still have to have a surveyor, well, I don't know.
no, not
You
for,
can flag it, but you don't have to, they don't necessarily have to.
You can
put
flag it and measure distances
right.
from the flags, and those have, the wetlands delineation could actually be in somebody else's property.
Right.
Really, so it's not really a survey issue.
Right.
I don't think they're looking at a survey.
They had asked me at one point if they could do a survey, and I said that we don't require a permit for someone to do a survey. That might be what you're thinking of. Maybe?
so
Maybe.
Yeah.
that price is probably right on.
For notice of intent, help, and
Yeah, well, because they're basically
the
gonna,
representing.
yes, you know, they're gonna come in here, they're gonna write up the notice of intent, submit it, all that stuff that goes along with it, come in
Yep.
to the meeting, you know, that's what it's gonna cost. So, you know, I was hoping that when they saw what it was gonna cost, they might decide to cut back on their plans on the filling and get a little bit of advice from the wetland scientist who gave them the estimate to say, look, maybe if you didn't do this, this, and this, you could get away without filing a notice of intent, right?
Oh, the whole 50-foot thing.
Yeah, but the notice of intent is not the money, that's not the money obstacle. I think it's
Well, I think I think they're concerned about the cost of the help and the
Right.
presentation of the notice of intent.
Right.
So it is, I mean,
But I'm saying, well, yeah. But I think we know that from other drawings and plot plans, that if they're gonna fill in, they're filling in the buffer zone.
Well,
And-
and I see a difference between filling and putting a couple of inches of loom down on the existing topsoil, you know?
Yeah,
If
but,
they were just gonna do that, they probably could get away without filing a notice of intent. But when you use the word filling,
right. And-
usually that means, you know,
You're talking
upwards.
feet.
Yes,
Right,
right.
and talking about squaring off to the foundation
Yeah.
of the house, that, to me, that meant the line was going well, you know,
right, and they're talking about putting a fence in
Yeah,
there
so-
and having it be, yeah.
So, so they need to decide basically what it is they want to do. And it sounds like what they want to do is going to be $5,000 more than what they were planning. So they need to decide, you know, if they want to go down that road, that's what it's going to, they're going to
Well-
have to increase their budget.
right, so wouldn't they end up paying that anyways? If they came in with a plan to fill, we would then say, well, we want a wetland scientist to do some work, and they pay for it anyways, right?
Well,
Right, I mean.
not necessarily, but, you know, like I was telling Tom before you got here, it's like very difficult for us to put a plan together, never mind somebody who doesn't really have any experience with it at all, you know? So, you know,
No, I know, but, I mean, their plan is to fill.
yeah,
Well, that's what they told us.
Right.
Then I thought we made it
Clear,
clear,
yeah.
if you're putting a couple inches to level out some potholes or whatever, divots in the lawn, that's one thing. If you're adding feet of material,
If you're trying to double the size of your
Which is what-
absolutely flat
Yeah,
tennis court playing surface, then,
Right,
then
then
you're gonna, it's gonna be the scope of the project is much, much larger.
right, so, I'm with Mike, I mean, I haven't, I don't live near wetlands, so I've never gotten it quoted, but if that's the price, that's the price. I mean, they can shop it around, see if they get something better, but they have to decide whether they want to do that or not. If they truly want to fill it, if they want to spread loam to sort of even out the lawn, so there's no divots in it, but basically keep the contours the same, that's
I think they're
different.
concerned, it drops off pretty rapidly, and I think they,
I think they wanted
Want
to
to
make it
expand.
flat-ish, yeah.
Well,
but
they
but the
want the
problem with that
arc
is
They're
that
gonna make
the
it,
more you expand it,
the more,
the more it either
slope.
becomes steeper.
yeah.
Right.
You know, if you're stopping at a certain point, it either becomes steeper, or you push out where you're filling.
And
Yeah.
Didn't they talk about a wall somewhere, a retaining wall, and,
Well, they could do that too, actually, that's, people in Stonebridge did that. A bunch of people, I mean, that's a lot of money, I would assume, but.
I thought I read it somewhere, but I can't.
Would I then potentially be under different guidelines as the house was already placed at roughly 40 feet instead of 50? Well, no.
The house probably never should have been.
Well,
Right, right,
there's,
yeah.
there's that. I mean, that's the curse of Groveland.
Yeah, it's too bad it wasn't torn down when it was deemed a hoarder place.
Well, then they couldn't have built again. It would have been much harder.
Well,
so.
Anyway.
Annie, do you think you can answer his questions for us?
As far as the first email,
June 20?
the June 20th one, I think I can answer those. I think part of the issue is understanding what the Wetlands Protection Act and our bylaws considers to be work. I think there's some miscommunication going on there.
Can you send them links to,
Yeah, I can absolutely do that. I mean, the CMR, the regulations are quite technical, but I can certainly send them. And, I mean, I understand what he says. I'm not intending to fill any of the wetlands directly, so that isn't an issue. That isn't, as we know, that's not how it works, I guess. So
Well,
so,
I mean, basically, it's our opinion, based on what he says, even in these questions, that he needs to file a notice.
oh, yeah, absolutely.
That's the bottom line.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but I don't think we're going to get much pushback from anybody else on this. that
Yeah.
This requires a notice of intent.
Sorry, Mike, can I see that second page? Oh, wait, no, I have it. I gave my meeting packet to the folks who stopped by. I think that, yeah, I'll just explain to them that regardless, the level of work that they're proposing, the commission would require a full notice of intent filing, and that, even doing an RDA, a request for a determination,
I mean.
the level
that-
of work is
they're-
going to be,
I mean, basically, they're getting a free RDA right now,
in a sense, yeah, right.
Right.
I would also emphasize to him, it doesn't matter where the house is.
Right.
Yeah.
100 feet is 100 feet, the house just happened to be built before
Yeah,
Carrot, so.
I can, yeah, I might be, I'm not really sure what he meant in that regard visually. I was having a hard time, so I might ask him if he can do another site visit,
Yes.
just to explain to me a little more clearly what he's saying, and hopefully I can also explain the commission's point of view a little more clearly too, because I often find that's easier.
Saying the damage was done, can I do more damage? That's the way I read it.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so, moving on.
Do you feel comfortable with everything, Annie?
Yep, I just also knew that I wasn't at the site visit, so I wasn't sure what, if the commission had any other insight as far as the conversations that had happened at the site visit that would, impact my answers, so.
We tried to strongly suggest that they scale back a little bit and just stay out of the whole 50-foot thing. We brought that up multiple times, said it would cost a lot less, there'd be a lot less work involved, but it seems that maybe they still have this idea that they want a nice square fence and retaining walls and,
Yeah, yeah,
The 50 feet is sort of more, I think, towards the middle of their yard than on the edge, so.
but it's
that's
not,
probably, well, maybe not in the middle, but it's.
it wasn't, I mean, I paced off a little bit, I think, didn't I? Or
Really?
was it a different thing that I was pacing off? Anyway, the wetlands weren't delineated, so it was all guesswork anyway. But it seems like if they're willing to accept something that's not like a perfect 90-degree angle and perfectly flat surface, there ought to be a reasonable solution that doesn't require an NOI. But if they, the problem is, you go from 51 feet to 49 feet, and there's a difference. Got to
So-
draw a line somewhere.
yeah, so just looking at the,
50 would be a good place.
looking at the MyMap, which obviously isn't a wetland scientist flagging, they have wetlands along the back of their property too. So the way I'll try to show.
Curves
it.
around, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not going to be a great photo because my screen's kind of small.
I think it actually goes away a little bit before it curves around, doesn't it?
Yeah, but basically, so this is the house, this is like the driveway, this is the garage. It basically almost, like 3/4 of their lawn is within the buffer zone. Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Yeah, from last month. I brought my old notes.
Oh, look at you. Yeah.
Thank you, Tom.
So we had talked to them, I thought, I forget, maybe a third of the way into the house, just going straight back and trying to stay away.
Yeah.
But even, so they could.
At a certain point, they run into the back wetlands.
Right.
Yeah, but that was still, I mean, there's a
But-
whole septic system here, so that's still a big enough
Yeah,
yard.
it's-
Right, and this does, whoops, sorry. This does push out, well,
a little bit, but it's.
Yeah. You can get, 50 feet is like here.
Yes, but if they fill out to here, that slope
That's way, yeah,
is
and
too
it's.
much.
And it's also way, way, way under 50. It's not like
Yeah,
you
true.
can turn a blind eye to that.
Yep.
All right.
By the time they get done with the gradient, it's,
Oh, yeah.
the flat part's
Well,
gonna be at like,
it's either a retaining
60.
wall or it's pushed, the whole thing is pushed out that much closer.
yeah.
Or both. All right, next.
The next is a request from the folks at Manor Drive. It says Manor Grove in here.
So I think the issue, so I think the complex is called Manor Grove.
Okay.
But the street is
It's
called Manor Drive.
Okay, that
Yes.
makes sense. All right, so I'll read this. It says, Groveland Commissioners, as representative to the applicant for the work proposed at Manor Grove, we are requesting a determination be made on the permit fees for the notice of intent. The Groveland Wetland Protection Bylaw fee schedule doesn't adequately address fees for multiple buildings in an apartment complex. The work under the notice of intent includes building new decks, staircases, and underground sump lines within the 100-foot buffer zone. Yes. So, the question on the fees does not relate to the Mass DEP notice of intent. It's basically on our bylaw, and I believe after looking at our chart of accounts there, of fees, that the applicable fee is $200 per dwelling, which means, and how many dwellings are we talking about there? 6 buildings?
There were 7.
Yeah, but come on,
One of them, there were 7 in the
picture.
jurisdiction, I think.
7?
I think. There was a map showing the different buildings.
There were 7.
7.
Yep.
All right, so there's 7 buildings with 4 apartments in each building?
I believe so. I believe they're each 4 unit.
Okay, so that's,
2 on the bottom, 2 on top.
that's 28 times, what did we say it was, 200?
Sorry, I should have included the fee schedule in your meeting packet. I
Yeah.
didn't think to. That's my
No,
fault.
but, I mean, I looked at it.
Oh, it actually it is as part of the 10 Ashcroft Circle.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't include it
No,
specifically
don't give
for
yourself
this.
credit for that.
No, I'm not. Oh, no, I'm not, because I already apologized for leaving it out, but
Yeah, well, and I said, nope.
it
nope,
works
it's all good.
perfectly. Isn't that great when that happens?
No, it's 7 dwellings, $200 per dwelling, $1,400, right?
No,
No, there's
No.
4 dwellings per building.
So the way our,
Isn't a dwelling a building?
That's
Because
what
it
I
says
was-
multifamily structure.
yeah, so
2
it's
plus
per
residences.
dwelling. If it's a 2-family, then there's 2 dwellings in it.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how I would read, otherwise we would have just said multifamily structure, $200, and not put any,
Oh,
Thing after
okay,
it.
because a single family is $350, and it would be
Less.
confusing for
Yeah,
it to
right.
be, okay, yep.
So I believe the fee is $5,600. And so in his email, this is from
Do you have that map?
Paul Bergman, who was at the meeting last time,
from,
a
sorry,
professional engineer.
Map from last week,
from Manor, no, I
from
don't.
Manor? No.
I was looking at that.
Actually, I keep
Sorry,
forgetting to
Mike.
recuse myself in this.
Well, you don't have to, you really don't have to recuse yourself, because we're not,
It's a discussion.
yeah,
it's
we're
not a
not,
vote.
this is not a hearing, Terry.
Well, okay, as soon as it becomes a vote,
No, we're not going to vote.
No, this is a, this
it's
is,
just a determination.
he just wants clarification on the fee.
Yep.
So
Okay.
here's the
$5,600.
clarification, it's $5,600
If there's truly 4 dwellings,
per
Per
unit,
building.
yeah, right,
it's $5,600.
right.
Do you have that map? Because maybe not, I mean,
I'm not sure if all
maybe not all
buildings,
of the dwellings, maybe not all of the dwellings are within the,
You mean the dwellings within the
Are they
building?
putting 4
Sorry?
decks on? I thought it was just one deck and then
Do you mean?
way I understood
No,
it,
it
I
is
guess
just,
'cause of the
it's, I've seen the
fire-
architectural plans, it's just one.
one
Okay.
deck.
One per building.
egress. So whether it's one or,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
well, probably they're not.
Six.
1, 2,
To your point, maybe the ground floor, getting a deck is what you're getting at?
Well, I'm
The
trying
ground
to,
floor units?
yeah, they just need to get out.
Okay, so there's certainly.
That's a good point, Mike.
What's that?
If 2 of the dwellings are on the ground floor, are they, if they're not actually building a deck for those dwellings?
Oh, I see. Like if,
Although
if
there
it,
was-
if it went.
Well, no, they're, well, but are they really filing for those dwellings? You know what I mean?
Think
Because they're
so.
not Technically building a deck for those dwellings.
Outside of the jurisdiction.
Any outside? No, they're all.
No, it cuts,
They're all in?
it cuts through, the seventh one, it cuts through like half of the far part. So,
It's mostly in.
But where does the deck go? Or where's their egress for that one?
oh,
I don't know.
decks are in the back, aren't they?
For which one, Bill?
Well,
Oh, the
Terry
one
was
that's
saying
like
there's
kind
one
of,
that's outside, partially outside.
so the way,
If
it's
the
by
word-
part, I mean, it's, if you're looking at it from like a percentage wise, only 10% of the front corner is outside. So the entirety of the back deck will be.
Okay.
Okay.
And the decks are going in the back.
Yes, they are.
All right.
Yep.
So, yeah, that's, yeah, okay, well, tried to,
Yeah, we're just exploring.
yep.
Finally, I found it, yeah.
All right, we done with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Okey-doke. I'll let them know you're reading it as written in the application.
Not even interpreting. It's as written in the
Right.
fee schedule.
Next is the Pawtucket Regional School. So what is it we need to decide on this?
We didn't need to decide anything. I just figured if there were some commissioners who weren't going to be at the site visit, that we could share with them how it went, but considering you guys were all there, there wasn't really anything else
Yep.
to discuss.
Except for
So-
Bill.
It looks
Oh,
good.
I'm so sorry.
If he's
I might
not
as well
here.
I've just shut off my microphone.
I'm so sorry, Bill. Oh, that's my
Bad
bad.
me
Extra
soul.
effort to get here tonight.
I
too.
know, I'm sorry. Thank you.
We did have, we asked that, we tweaked perhaps, we got more specific of where we want the markers, and then what they're gonna do when, that's like the lowest, the last thing they're gonna do. So before they do it, they're gonna mark out where they're gonna do it. We'll take a look again to see if we wanna move it 5, 10 feet this way, that way. But I think we're good. They're fine with the total number and the general placement. I think, right, Terry, that was,
And they're not doing it until August or September, so.
Right.
they gotta get the football field ready for August, apparently, is
Oh, yeah. Well, good start.
is the,
Scrimmages and.
And they've been tested with rainwater recently.
the whole month of June.
Water Commissioner Grimm is quite pleased. Replenish that aquifer.
Yeah, that seems something else.
Any other questions on that one?
Yep.
Uh,
Refer
Then-
to my colleagues.
The, what is it?
That
Okay.
trail work report is
The trail
pretty
work-
extensive. Boy.
Yes. Yeah,
I'd
so,
like to continue this and let me read it for next time.
I think we need to read
I
it
don't
into
think
the
we're voting
record,
on
don't we, the whole thing?
so I'll just tell you a couple of things that aren't on the report. Let's see if I can find this. So, based on, I had a meeting with Jim last week. So he wants to develop like a strategy, an overall, he thinks we should develop an overall strategy for our property trails. And, you know, addressing like maintenance, promotion, you know, anything special about a particular site, you know, how are we going to do maintenance? You know, are we going to do stewardship? Are we going to promote the trails? How are we doing that? Et cetera, et cetera. So he's going to work on that. I'm also going to work a little bit on that. And then once we get that in place, we'll approve it or, you know, become one of our regulations that we can have. And so right now, he's still working on finding the right material for the signs because the trail signs, they don't offer them at Staples anymore. So, but he was going to find a new place. And also, he's ready to purchase the wood for the bridge work in Meadow Pond. And I think we might want to have a work day to get the work done. Probably wouldn't be until late August or early September.
Sounds good.
That would be good. I might be able to.
I mean, he's doing a great
Yeah,
job.
no,
Just keep out of his way, right?
Okay, let's see. And what else do we have on here?
oh, there.
It's where they're reading the brainwaves.
Yes. Getting nothing from me.
You know that 10G that they're talking about?
Yeah.
Do you have any updates for us, Annie?
Nothing too crazy. Sorry. Thank you. Nothing too crazy. For our July 12th meeting, we'll have full notices of intent. One being for a property on Katy Lane. Another being for a driveway and stream crossing on Wood Street.
Wood Street.
What address is that on Wood Street?
It's a new house.
27. It's a vacant lot at the moment. They did a A&R lot on, with the planning board.
Oh, is it before the dip, before they go up, or?
Yeah, remember there was that burnt-out cabin, and then he built a house next to that. This one's the next one up.
That near the Christmas tree?
It's past it.
Past that. But remember where that burnt-out cabin was?
Not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the chicken coop.
No,
is
that was
thing.
way up. This is right across from the entrance to Nichols Village. Before you start to go up the hill, it's like you come down the hill, it's flat, then you go up. It's that flat part.
And it's right before you dip down a lot.
Yeah, or right out on the dip, yeah.
Do we have
Interesting.
anything for the 26th?
July 26th?
Yeah.
Not at the moment, but
But-
you guys have something July 27th. And it's the 150 Center Street Strawberry Fields Visioning Center session.
Yeah,
That thing.
I was going to plug it later, but you gave me an opportunity, so I took it.
Right. So we may be able to skip that 26th meeting,
Potentially,
potentially.
potentially, yeah.
Right.
It depends on what comes
Make
in.
that a goal and objective.
Unless these people at Manor Drive come in with their notice of intent.
That's true.
I'm gonna have to recuse myself for Katy Lane, so we gotta make sure there's enough people.
And me too.
Yeah, but that doesn't affect the meeting. You're still counted for a quorum.
Yeah.
It's just whoever's here.
Out of it, Mark.
No, you can't get out of it.
And then, I mean, our new,
Presumably, we'll have our new,
I was going to say, yeah, I sent him an email this morning as kind of a little welcome package, if you will, for the commission, and let MACC know we had a new member. So, yeah, we should have a new member
I
by
was
then.
sworn in on Monday.
Yeah, and Stephanie is in Colorado again with her father, so hopefully, I'm hoping she'll be back by the next
Didn't
meeting.
broadcast people's travel plans on a public. forum.
Yes, well,
No, seriously.
it's minimal information.
There's all kinds of code.
The open discussion, so I just wanted to take a look at the draft that
letter from-
Annie put together. So I think that this is okay. So this would be used for, say, roof and siding work within the 100-foot buffer, as opposed to asking people to file for a permit. But what I think I would like to do is have this letter always be signed off by the chair, so that we know about it. And the burden isn't just on Annie to, it's like Annie can rely on, if she's uncomfortable, but it seems like it
Right.
should fit, you know what I mean?
So, in your email, I think you had siding, windows, and roofing.
Yeah.
And I guess that's fine. I think we should be very specific on what's allowed. And then I think when I sent her back with my comments, I don't know what the mechanism in it, if someone pulls a permit with Sam, they start something and then they're like, oh, wow, we were gonna do the windows, but now this wall has to be replaced because it's all rotted.
Yes.
And they go back to Sam, is it just, hey, Sam, we're gonna go do X, Y, Z, and that's the end of it? Like, what's the mechanism for us to be notified? And even that, if they're replacing a couple of studs, it's probably not a big deal, but if it, like, maybe now the foundation is cracked and they have
Well,
to bring in some equipment to shore it up.
A perfect example is the house, Terry knows which one it is, over on Main Street, where they came to us, they were gonna put a back deck or something on it, and now they tore the whole house down pretty much and rebuilt it.
Is that the one I called you about when I?
So
Yeah, so
Tom
I-
apparently knows about it too.
Well, I was hiking on the other side of the river one day, and I'm like, I
Yeah.
heard all the hammering. So what's the mechanism when someone goes back to Sam and says, oh, we're gonna expand what the permit is?
I'd have to ask Sam how Permit Link works with that. I don't know.
Well, what are we concerned about? Are we concerned about a full demo, or are we concerned about replacing a single stud?
Yeah, I mean, what's the downside of, how worse is it gonna get?
I'm not worried about the stud. What I'm worried about is if we have somebody who comes in and says, oh, this, for example, this wall and foundation need work, and they're gonna pull all the permits with us, and they're gonna spend some money to do that. And then if another person comes in and says, oh, I'm replacing this window, but that turns into much more, in other words, the equivalent of what somebody would have filed with us, I think it's just unfair to the residents to, one person follows all the rules and does this and pays whatever, and, has to deal with the meetings, where somebody else says, oh, I'm just replacing the window, and then they get into it and it turns into the same amount of work. What's the mechanism to make sure that we're fair to all the residents? That's,
The mechanism would be, we would have to know about it, no matter what. If somebody files, if these people, that we approved a pool, and all of a sudden they decided to tear the shed down too, or something,
Well,
in
in this proposed verbiage, it says, if the nature of the proposed project changes. I mean, that pretty much,
yeah.
please contact the, maybe not please, but
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you must.
you must, yeah.
yeah. I just, where's the, so
And
that's
then-
really
and then-
good, but where's like the
Well, but then
stick
that
to
gives
make
us
sure happens?
that gives us the opportunity to say, well, that's too big a change, you're gonna need to,
Yeah,
You're gonna need to file.
if they come back to us, though, that's
well, we
fine.
tell them they need to, and if they don't, after we've given this.
Yeah,
they're-
then they
they're sort
get
of-
fined.
They're,
Fine, yeah.
out there, we could fine them. So, you know.
to do it, because at that point, they're doing work without a permit. And that goes on all the time, and probably half of them we never hear about, we don't know about, and some of them we do.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really probably no different than that.
Yeah, I think changing, like Terry said, from please to, you know, you must contact, that's probably about as tough as we can be, and then,
You contact the environmental program coordinator before continuing.
Ooh, I like before continuing.
That's why I said it, Tom, just for you.
So does that stuff make sense, Annie?
Yeah, I was changing it as I went.
It's already done.
No, and so, you know, you and I are in pretty close communication, so that way there, you know, you can at least say, if you're not comfortable, say, well, the chairman's got to sign it, or whatever, you know?
So, the issue I foresee with that is more so the, like, systematic aspect of it, in the sense that there isn't like a sign-off form. It's not like I can copy something that you sign and submit it to them via permit link. That's not how the system works. But we can figure that out. We can figure that out looking
Well,
at permit link.
isn't, the result, if he looks at it, is just, no, you know, we think the work is significant enough that they have to come before us. That's the feedback, right?
Well, no, I get it. What do you mean, I guess, by sign off? I'm imagining you're physically signing this letter. Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But I
that,
can do it electronically. If you send me the thing, I can.
but I can't attach anything. That's the
You
issue.
could put a comment in there, though, that contacted Mike on whatever, 6/28, discussed project, he gave his approval.
I could, yeah.
Oh, you're saying there's no way to attach that letter to the request?
Correct.
But you can refer to the form letter and,
So this letter was just going to be essentially copy and pasted. It was going to be like a saved comment that I would just add to every permit. And it's a text box that I would just
Within
copy.
permit link,
Sorry?
within permit. link.
Yes.
So you can't attach anything to that?
No.
That's too bad.
I'd be fine if Annie just put a note when she contacted
Yeah.
you.
It kind of like how I do with like the GRDAs, I put the motion at the end of them for the record. I could
so-
do something similar, saying conversation with Chairman Mike Dempsey.
But don't they have their address in permit link?
Yeah,
So, I mean, we could mail them a letter.
that's a lot of administrative responsibility for me to do.
Yeah, but you're not having to write the letter. You have the letter, right? You just basically print it out. I would sign it, and then you'd have their address, put it on a label, and put it in the mail, right? I mean, I know that involves work, but you're not having to, at least you're not having to write a letter every time, right?
and he
No.
says, so you're offering to do that, Mike?
Yeah, yeah, I mean, if that's how you want me to spend my time,
Well, no, but, you know,
You're going to send these electronically, right?
oh, it's just, I would like put in, like I can save comments, so each time I can just scroll to, roofing, siding, Concom, and I would just click this and it would be done. And I would have to do that in the permit link anyway.
That doesn't sound unreasonable.
yeah, but so how does it get to me unless,
I don't think it does.
well, that's what I'm
You're
saying.
You're emailing this to the applicant, or to the, and all you got to do is CC him, and it gets to him,
That's
no?
not how it works on permit link. It's
No,
all
see.
internal to the system.
How are you getting it to the applicant?
So permit link emails them.
Eh,
Yes. It's not, I'm not,
too
I don't
electronic.
even like copy and paste their email. It just, I put in the comment and I hit send and permit link shoots it out to them.
and there are no CCs on the permit link?
Not that I'm aware of. I can talk to Sam. He knows the intricacies of permit link more than
Yeah.
I do.
Otherwise, what are you thinking of doing? Just sending an email to?
Well, Mike and I hadn't discussed this before.
Oh, okay.
So
Since it's just the two of you,
We work it out.
why don't you guys work it out?
We could be here for the rest of the night, coming up with solutions.
I mean, we gave our comments on the content of the letter. I think it's a really good, I think it's going to save a lot of grief.
But, so, you agree with me, in theory anyway, that one of us, the chair, whoever, should at least somehow be aware of it, whether it's signing
Absolutely.
something, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, all right, so we'll
Absolutely.
try to figure out the best way of doing that then.
You shouldn't be involved in every single detail, but you
Oh,
should.
no.
You
But
should
we shouldn't-
you should hear background
Yes.
noise that this is
No.
going on.
A lot of times,
On her
you know,
shoulders.
Annie and I communicate, I'll come in, she just tells me what's going on,
Right.
so that at least it's in my
Yeah,
head,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
And if something catches your attention,
Yeah.
it's like, wait a sec,
Yeah, so it would
that
kind of,
can't happen.
you know, that it could just, that might just work, I don't know.
All right,
Okay.
what's the next thing?
Well, just real quick, you probably caught it, but any dumpster disposal will be stored as far from, you're missing far.
Oh, as from, okay. Are you guys fine with the no equipment containing engine or motor? I threw that back at Annie just because be more specific. Is that a little
Yeah,
overboard or reasonable?
it
It's,
it puts a line in the sand, and if they say, well, we need to do this, then we can say, okay, we'll give an exception in this case.
Right, okay.
Or, no, you can't do that unless you want to file. So I think that's a good, you know, if it's a,
Right.
when, they never even used the ladder lift when they did my roof. They were-
yeah, I was
But
thinking like.
even a post digger, you know, the auger or something like that, I wouldn't call that heavy equipment, but it's,
No.
I mean, if it's a hand, you know, one,
Well,
but
they
it's
should
still a
realize
motor.
if they're doing.
But that's
Right,
not
they
a,
could be
roofing
putting in a
windows and
post.
siding,
that's
right?
excavation. They're not, they shouldn't be doing any
Shouldn't be doing any
augering.
of that.
That wouldn't augur well at all.
I go back to our, you know, oh, I'm just removing the scrap metal and appliances, which turned into, why is there a bulldozer here removing dirt? You know, the quote-unquote cleanup, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Any other items not reasonably anticipated at the time of posting?
No.
That I know of, no? Okay, so our next meeting, as we mentioned, is on Wednesday, July 12th, 2023, at 7 PM, and we are positive that that meeting will take place.
Move to adjourn at 8:07 PM.
Second.
All in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Unanimous. Thank you, everyone.
Sorry, who seconded that? I didn't catch it.